Pretty different opening, isn't it? Let's go off the books. Hey, what's up, bookworms and body watchers? I don't know what else to say there, but hey, we're just going to do this episode completely different than usual, which is what an Off the Books episode does dictate. Now, this episode really, guys, when we go off the books, it's talking about anything except, obviously, book reviews. And I wanted to do one on keto because I've had a lot of people who have asked me to do this. I get so many messages, emails. I even get people messaging me on Goodreads like, hey, I heard in that one review you mentioned that you changed your eating habits and it changed your whole life. What exactly is that? And I always have a kind of point them to this video that I have kind of out there already about what we did when we started doing keto and how it really worked for us. But I kind of wanted to get a little more into the nitty gritty of it. Now, I want to say up front that this isn't going to be a eating plan video or meal ideas or anything like that. I want to know that this is just going to be me talking about a lot of the misinformation that is out there. Now, I don't want it to act like I'm just like the authority on these things. I just want to talk about what worked for us. It has worked for us for 3 years, and I would like to tell people about it because I think besides weight loss, there are a lot of benefits to moving to this eating style. Now, if you want an in-depth breakdown of all the foods you can have, all the foods you can't have, and all those things, I did a video a while back, which was really just before I even started this channel, which was basically how we lost the weight that we lost. This is more discussing the basic benefits and things like that, and why it might or might not work for you. That's kind of what this is. Just kind of get the information out there for people who have been curious about it, because I feel like I can tell you why. It's not hyperbole when I say that this changed the way that I will eat for the rest of my life. So let's just get into it, guys. In case you don't know, what is keto? Now, it's known more scientifically as the ketogenic diet. Now, keto is a high-fat, adequate protein, low carbohydrate diet that in medicine is primarily used mainly to treat hard-to-control epilepsy in children. That's how it really began. But the diet forces the body to burn fats rather than carbohydrates. Now, it's based on the principle that by depleting the body of carbohydrates, which are its primary source of energy, you can force the body to burn fat for fuel. This maximizes weight loss. Now, there is a lot more behind the science than, hey, did you know that you can eat nothing but bacon and all the cheese that you want? There's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more to it than just, oh, well, you can't eat bread. So I want to kind of get into those little details here. And I'm going to kind of handle this just like I do with any other review on this channel, and I'm going to start with what makes it good or bad. I like to start with the good, because obviously, cat out of the bad, guys, is something I'm very, very positive on because of all of the benefits that it has brought to my life. Obviously, the big one, this one doesn't really need me to explain it to you. You're going to lose weight, full stop. I mean, anytime you shock the body with something like this, you're going to lose weight just because of how it's reacting to things. So, yes, do not worry. If you follow macros and you use intermittent fasting, which I'll get into in a little bit more detail, you're going to lose weight. It's not, you might not lose as fast as we did. You might not lose as much as we did. You might not lose as fast as your neighbor, but you're going to lose weight. It's no doubt. When you deprive your body of some of the things that, some of the bad things that we on a daily basis cram into our body, yeah, it's not a surprise. Yes, you're going to lose weight. That's not a secret. But yeah, I know that that's the number one reason that people want to do this, but there's so many more reasons for keto that outside of that. Now, you're going to be full. This is the best part about keto for me, outside of the mental aspect, is I think my entire life I was kind of like the Cookie Monster when they did that Avengers skit on Sesame Street. I watched it with my kids, where instead of being like where the Hulk's like I'm always hungry, well he's playing the Hulk and Cookie Monster says that's my secret, I'm always hungry. I was like that. My whole life, I was always hungry because I was eating a lot of processed food, not enough protein, and I was not feeling very satiated. So when you go to keto, here's the thing, you're doing high fat, high protein, or adequate protein is how they like to put it, and you're going to be full all the time. And then it's a mental game. And you're like, wow, I'm not hungry, but I feel like I should, I'm watching this movie. I feel like I should be eating popcorn or something like that. That'll come in time that you'll get used to not doing those things anymore. But yeah, the most satisfying thing to me with this the whole time was like, wow, I'm not hungry. And it's just learning to break some of those bad habits that I used to have. Look, I ate before because I was hungry. I was always freaking hungry. It was really starving myself anytime I tried to do something like counting calories. I even tried counting sodium for a long time, which worked, but you were starving, the whole time. So with this, I find it rather easy because, yeah, you're going to find yourself so full of so little food that you don't really expect. You look at some of the servings and you're like, oh, that's not going to fill me up, and you're like stuffed when you're done with it. So that's the coolest thing for me, was never feeling hungry. I love that. And guys, you're going to find energy that you had no idea that you could have. I'm 43 years old, guys. And how do you think I work, have 2 young kids, do all this extracurricular stuff with them, and do this channel? It's because I have more energy than I ever thought possible. It's amazing because I was dragging ass all over this place pre-keto. I was very tired. It was hard to come up the steps, not just because of I was overweight, but because I was just drained. I mean, literally, if I'd go to work, I'd come home every day, I'd sit on the couch for a minute and I was out, because I was just wasted. I was just worn out, So it's amazing that people think that, you're cutting out sugar, which we're going to talk about that as well. How are you able to get through the day? Well, look, caffeine is very welcome on this diet. Caffeine does still work, and we'll talk about the soda thing here too as well. But yeah, you're going to have so much energy that you didn't think that you could have, even if it does take a minute for your body to adjust and get there. The coolest thing for me, guys, I just talked about, no much sugar. Now, look, processed food has so much hidden sugar that I wasn't even aware of. You can look at things and be like, oh, it says fat-free. That means it must be good, right? Well, the way that they do that, remember when they first put out fat-free foods, is they tasted terrible. So they thought, oh, okay, well, we'll just jack the sugar level up. That way, you can be like, look, it's low carb. It's only 100 calories. And they just make this sugar go through the roof. And that's where they were really getting you. So the big thing about this is everybody thinks that this is a no-carb diet. Look, it's a low-carb, no-sugar diet. Sugar is the real villain here. And I hear you right now saying, oh, God, I just couldn't quit sugar. Here's the secret to quitting sugar, guys. Don't have it for 3 days. All of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm not craving sugar anymore. It completely wowed me too. I did not expect that because we ate a lot of sugar. We ate a lot of those like 100-calorie packs and things like that. The fruit gummies that we get kids. Look, if you got kids, those things are good. You got no problems eating things like that. Just your regular standard chewing gum, things like that. All kinds of processed foods that you wouldn't think would have a ton of sugar. Like juice is like the worst thing just about you can put your body. Cereal. It was stuff that we did on a daily basis that we never really even considered. Like I had oatmeal every day. I had no idea it had that much sugar in it. So these are the things that you'll kind of have your eyes open up to. But the thing is, once you quit having these sugars, you only have like natural sugars like in strawberries and peanut butter, things like that, natural peanut butter. And then you'll all of a sudden be like, wow, I'm not going to the dentist every 3 months anymore, because you're not wrecking your teeth. My enamel on my teeth was screwed from eating all those processed foods. And after we did keto for 6 months, I went to my dentist and he's like, what the hell did you do? And I'm like, oh God, they're even worse. And he's like, your teeth look incredible, the best that they've ever looked. This is the dentist I'd had for, a decade. He's like, this is the best that they have ever looked. And so it's one of the things there is another benefit, guys, no more tooth decay, So if you're like me and you abuse your teeth for a long time, you'll get to save what you got. And, I don't have to go get, I wouldn't say I got like pearly whites or anything, but, I have the thing where like, hey, I'm going to keep the teeth I got. So that's encouraging. No more going and having like extractions or root canals anymore. That's great. So that's obviously going to be a huge one here. But I know that's the one that a lot of people like. They're like, okay, look, I'm already hearing I got to give up carbs. Now you tell me I could give up sugar too. It's so much easier than you guys think. It really is. Because again, you're going to be full. You'll no longer crave those things that you said you can't give up. Like I hear other people all the time. Oh, I just couldn't give up beer. Oh, I just couldn't give up bread. Oh, I just couldn't give up tortilla chips or something. There's always something like that you don't think. With me, oh, there's no way I can give up potatoes, right? I have no interest in them now. That's what's amazing about it, is this will change not only the way you eat, it'll change your taste buds to where you just, those things now just are so foreign. And look, I'm not going to say, hey, Mom has you over some home-cooked meal and she makes some mashed potatoes. I'm not saying they're going to taste disgusting. I'm just saying I'm not craving those things anymore. So you're no longer going to crave those things you said you couldn't give up. Like, I mean, I used to, dude, I was a munchie king. There was always sweets. It didn't matter if it was a candy bar. It didn't matter if it was like M&M's. Reese's peanut butter cups were my Achilles heel for many a year. Like I think they are for several people. And fruit roll-ups were always, hey, they had a box of like 100 of them at Sam's for $12. Why not? So these are the things that you'll be able to give up and you never would have expected. And there's the big thing is a lot of the foods that big food companies have said that you can't eat. On this, you get to. That's the coolest thing about it. And I want to get it across here right away that a lot of people get this misunderstood about what you can and cannot eat. This has gotten the poor reputation of, oh, all you do is eat cheese smothered in butter with bacon. And that's not true. Yes, you can have those things, guys. What this eating style, and I keep calling it eating style because I don't call this a diet because I really do consider this a change in lifestyle. A diet is something that you do temporarily to lose weight and then you go back into your bad habits. This is something for, longevity's sake. You can continue to do this in your everyday life and it's not really that difficult, especially when you're at the point where I was, where I just want to maintain my weight now. I have don't need to lose any more weight. I don't think I do, but I think everybody feels like they could always lose some weight, but that's always going to be up to you. But the cool thing is, guys, you have alternatives for every kind of food that you can think of. There's fake sugar, there's fake everything out there, and it's easy not to break your eating plan when you eat out on something like this. So you're at a work function and they're like, oh great, they ordered in food. I mean, obviously it's great. Your company, if you work for a company that's nice enough to order in food for you, but you're like, oh god, these aren't. They ordered sandwiches. What am I going to do? I mean, it's real easy. Like my job, I work in a corporate office. They bring kolaches and donuts all the time. And if you aren't in the South and you don't know what kolaches are, basically imagine like a pig in a blanket but on steroids. So it's real easy. What I'll do is, I'll grab a kolache, I peel the bread off, and I eat the sausage and cheese because that's approved keto foods. But again, the myth of all you eat is meat and cheese, I got to get this one across you guys. You got to eat a lot of fiber to make things come out well. Let's put it that way. So you are eating a lot of leafy greens on this diet. So if you're allergic to vegetables, again, guys, it's not all easy. Okay, is it? Everybody just thinks, oh man, I'm just going to eat bacon 3 times a day and it's going to be great. And it's not quite like that, guys. This is not dangerous for your health, like you've heard, but you have to be responsible. You can't be like my 9-year-old who refuses to eat his vegetables. Still, you have to make sure you're getting a good balance in there. Get a lot of fiber, even if you have to use some supplements. Eat a vegetable with every meal. That's what I do. It's easy, guys. It's not as hard as you think it is. The absolute biggest thing for me with keto is the mental aspects. Guys, I suffered from chronic depression for like 30 years. I'm not talking about like, my life sucks. I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about like the type of depression where you feel like you need to lay down and you realize that you are laying down, like that kind of depression. Like you would just wallow in misery. One snide comment could completely ruin your month, that kind of thing. I was in a very, very dark place. I never had any confidence, anything like that. I couldn't have run a channel like this before keto. And that's not hyperbole, because once I went keto and I got all those poisonous processed foods out of my body, what do you know? Brain fog is gone. I can think clearly now. Wow, I can sleep now. Imagine that. And poof, depression has been gone without a trace for 3 years. I think this is worth it just for that. And I don't know if people will think I'm making that up or not. I don't know why I would make up something so ugly, but that's very much the truth. I mean, even my wife brings it up now that wow, it's amazing that, you're always so positive now, because I always was really kind of a Eeyore a little bit, with life in general now. And now I have a very positive outlook on just about everything. That's why I try to keep a positive message on this channel. And it's because of this, guys. I never would have been able to do a something like this, extracurricular, where you got something, if somebody says something really shitty in the comments, I would have just deleted my account the first time that happened, so this is just amazing. That's an amazing benefit to this that I put over the weight loss. Sure, weight loss is going to help everybody feel better. It's going to help them feel better about themselves. It's going to make them feel better physically. It's going to make them feel better about seeing photos of themselves and not being like, we've all been there, right? But to not feel any of those mental side effects anymore is just amazing. And like I said, brain fog was something I always really, really struggled with. And I really think that's why my reading level went up too, because I would read I think 5 to 10 books a year before I started doing keto. Now I'm like 50, 70 books a year. And that's also because that became like my primary form of entertainment. But my head was never clear enough to read like I do now. So there you go, guys. I think that's proof. It'll help you read more. That's how I'm going to tie it into the books here. But look, guys, your mood is going to be greatly improved and the people around you are going to appreciate it. Because, guys, processed foods, They're full of bad stuff for us. And I don't think that's a secret to anybody. I know, well, Ansel Keys in the 50s said that, hey, these are the ways that we should be eating. And people are still thinking about, okay, guys, it's been 70 years. Maybe we've learned some things back, since then. That's the way that I like to look at it. But another thing, like, guys, I'm not saying that this is a cure for depression. I'm not saying that this is a cure for diabetes. What I'm saying is I have some very limited data. I suffered from depression my whole life. I no longer have it. I have family members who have been diabetic. They did keto for 3 or 4 months. Boom. They no longer require insulin. Their doctors are amazed. So I take this for what you will, guys. I think that it's the coolest thing is you get to buy a completely new wardrobe. That's a good problem to have, because I think we've been doing this for like 2 months. And me and my wife were completely blown away. We went in our closet one day, and we both just started trying on clothes, and we're like, "Oh my God, I haven't been able to wear this since blank." It was just amazing. We're like, everything would fit. And then it got to the point where I was like, "Wow, these clothes that I've been wearing for like the last 6, 7 years, they don't fit anymore. I have to go buy new clothes." So I guess that could be a problem. I guess, I don't know, but for me, it was a really, really cool thing. Now, there are some bad things here that I'm going to get into, and I want to talk about these things. Now, some of these are things that other people have brought up to us. They didn't necessarily happen with us. Also, some of the things that how it affects the female body. I'm only going to be able to give you secondhand knowledge, obviously, because I don't know these things. I can only talk about what happened with me. The first bad thing, if you are a boozer, you like your alcohol, this is going to be tough. Because yes, there are things that you can have, guys. You can have whiskey, you can have red wine, things like that. Beer ain't going to happen, guys. If you're a beer drinker, this is going to be tough for you. Here's the thing, guys. I was a humongous beer drinker. I don't ever think I was an alcoholic or nothing like that, but I like to try a different beer kind of every time. Hey, it's Friday night, got friends over. Hey, let's try a new beer. I drank a ton of beer. Guys, now if I drink a beer, I'm either too full or I get sick too fast because I don't have the body weight for it. So, yeah, you can quit the beer, trust me, if you feel like... This is one of those things where it has to be one of the things that you want to do, guys. It can't be something that someone else is making you do. It can't be something you feel like you should do. It has to be something that you want to do. And the thing with, I said, like with being able to have whiskey, being able to have wine, but here's the thing. Those things still have carbs, guys, and you are on a limited carb count. So you can have some. The whole thing about this, about, oh, you can't eat this, you can't eat it. You can eat things that you probably shouldn't on this diet, as long as you do it in moderation. I think that that's what this whole lifestyle change teaches you, is to do things in moderation. You don't have to gorge yourself on everything. And this isn't the thing where like, oh God, I get it. But the whole thing about this is I'll never be able to have a piece of birthday cake on my birthday again. No, you can. Just try not to eat the whole cake. There are things that you're going to miss, guys. Pasta, starches, things like that. Yeah, it's a thing of the past. It's going to be something you don't eat anymore. But I'm telling you, you're not going to be craving them. That's what's great about it. I'm not saying you're never going to want them again. I'm going to say I would smack someone to have a slice of pizza some days. I'm not going to lie, but there are alternatives to this stuff on keto that I think that you're going to be able to find that'll kind of scratch that itch, I guess. And then you got the big one here. This is the keto flu. I feel like this almost has like a big old like scary urban legend about it. Neither one of us had the keto flu. Now the keto flu is when you first start this, the first 48 hours, a lot of people will quit because they think they got sick. And there is basically, you're shocking your body. You've been plowing all these processed foods, all this sugar, all these carbs in your body for years. And now you're just out of nowhere depriving your body of them. Yeah, your body's going to go into shock. It's not going to know what's going on. It's got to get those things out. So some people will experience some flu-like symptoms. Me, all I did was sleep more. I didn't have any flu-like symptoms. So I guess I was fine. For me, it was like, wow, this is the best I've slept in, a decade. Great. And I think that was because I stopped eating sugar. Sugar is what kept me up all night. And but again, there are a lot of people who said they've had it bad. They had it so bad, they're like, oh, I can't eat like this, because they think they're going to feel like that forever. It'll pass, guys, just like the flu will pass. I really feel like I haven't even really encountered anybody in real life that's done this, that got the keto flu, but there are some people who've had some really, really bad experiences with it. So I do want to bring it up. And I talked about fiber, guys. Now, look, if you aren't getting enough fiber, things aren't going to go well for you downstairs, if you know what I'm saying. Because I will hear the biggest fallacy about this is when someone starts doing keto, someone's always like, oh, have fun with your diarrhea. And it's like, my man, you have the opposite problem on this. If you've got diarrhea from eating meat and cheese and vegetables, you might want to see a doctor. You have to eat a lot of vegetables just to keep up. guys. So I got to get that out there straight to you. That's something that a lot of people are going to consider bad, because a lot of people can't eat a lot of high fiber. They're not used to it. So a lot of these things you're not going to be used to. You're not. That's why it's people will refer to it as a diet, because it is an eating style change. So a lot of things that you either said you couldn't eat or you couldn't give up, it's going to be an adjustment period for you. And the biggest one for everybody, like I said, when I tell them you can't really have sugar on this, that's when they're like, well, I can't make it through my day without a 5-hour energy drink. You're going to have energy, guys. It's going to be naturally produced energy from your body. It's going to be great. Trust me on this. You just got to give it a chance. So I know that's tough. Like people who put sugar in their coffee, they can't get through their day without it. They can't get through their day without their Dr. Pepper or something like that. It's tough. You are going to give up some things. It's got to be, how bad do you want it? Do you want to have these mental benefits? Do you want to be able to fit into those clothes that you fit into last year? It just comes down to that. Yes, there is some work involved, guys. I think it's a simple eating plan, but it is very tough at first. Now I want to kind of talk about some of the misinformation that's out there. And I want to reiterate, guys, that this is my opinion. This is what has worked for us. I'm going to show you our results, okay? So again, I do not want to try to sound like I'm the authority here. I just feel like there's a ton of misinformation out there. And again, I want to say up front, if you are an animal rights activist or whatever, that is 100% your choice. I'm definitely not criticizing that. If you want to be vegan, if you want to not eat anything with this or that, I completely understand that is your choice. Obviously, it's not mine, and I'm going to talk about that. So I want to make sure that if you're watching a video about keto and you are an animal rights activist, you're really just you're doing it to yourself. You're a glutton for punishment here. But I'll say about the misinformation is, if you're watching a video about why keto is bad and the screen name is Vegan Gal 17 or Soy Boy 84, you got to kind of consider the source there. But I'm not talking about that. Those people really have an agenda, and I think that's blatantly obvious. What I'm talking about is what I call the keto elitists, the ones who like to drop in whenever someone's doing keto and say, well, that's not keto. They say that this isn't keto. And look, a zero sugar Coke, this is basically my treat. This is what I do so I don't go have that Milky Way bar, is something like this. And you will have those people that say, oh, you can't have, because it's got aspartame in it or something like that, say you can't have it, it'll kick you out of ketosis. You can't have the xylitol, you can't have any of this fake sugar because it'll kick you out of ketosis. Oh, you can only eat grass-fed beef. Oh, you can only eat organic vegetables. Not true, guys. It's not true. We didn't do any of that stuff. And we lost a ton of weight. So I want to make sure that I get these ideas out of people's heads, that you don't watch some of these big channels who will tell you got to eat like 4 pounds of asparagus for breakfast. You do not. It is not true. Not at all. Not to work. This eating plan only has to be as expensive as you make. Now, I'm going to lie. Carbs are cheap, guys, compared to meat, obviously, especially right now. Good old inflation is in the States is really bad on beef right now. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. But again, you don't have to go organic and grass-fed and all that stuff. Also, I want to get in front of the, this is really, really bad for you. Look, guys, we had blood panels done. We had blood work, all that stuff before and after, and our doctors were completely blown away. My last physical last year, my doctor says I'm healthier now than I was at 21. Okay? So that's all a lie. And I know it's hard for people to accept this because they've heard their whole life, you can't eat foods high in fat. You can't eat this. You can't eat that. You have to do this. It's not true. And it's hard to get that out of your mind, because you got to think, guys, when you got the food companies that are basically, you're giving cows the same kind of high wheat foods, that they're telling us that we need to have, high grains and things like that. They're using it on cows to fatten them up before they go to the slaughterhouse, but they're telling us it's healthy for us. It's not hard to see what's going on here. High fructose corn syrup is a fancy word for fake sugar. So it's one of those things where you just got to realize, yeah, it would really hurt the food industry. It would really hurt the pharmaceutical industry if we knew about these things. So I'm not doing the tinfoil hat thing. To me, it's blatantly obvious. Obviously, the sugar company doesn't want you to stop eating sugar, okay. So it's going to be kind of up to you, what you believe and what you don't believe. But there are going to be a lot of channels out there telling you it's not healthy for you. But it is. It is, guys. It really is. But the biggest one is, guys, it is quite fine to use substitutes. My wife made these fake Cheeto, or what do we call them? Keto cheesecakes, but she calls them Cheeto cakes. Basically, you're using almond flour and you're using eggs. I'm getting the ingredients. I got it in all that other video, guys. But basically, these things make it feel like, hey, we're cheating right now. We're having like a cheesecake cupcake. It's brilliant. And you know what? It's like 4 carbs. It's incredible. It's what really got us through the early parts of feeling like we were weaning ourselves off of, junk food and stuff. Yeah, have a Coke once in a while. It's fine. A 0 sugar Coke isn't going to kill you. Now, you will have the people say, oh, that'll kick you out of ketosis. Look, I don't know if it does or not. We never did buying the keto strips and testing for ketosis and all that stuff. You know what we tested with? A measuring tape and a weight scale. And we noticed that our clothes were falling off of our hips. So that's what we went with. But it's okay, guys, to have an off day on this. A lot of people are like I said, oh, I'll never be able to eat cake again. Look, I say the first 3 months, commit to it. Commit to it hard. Go straight edge. Do not have a cheat day and let your body get used to it. We did that, guys, and we lost a shit ton of weight doing it that way. And you know what? We're at the point now where we do 6-1. 6 days on keto, 1 day we just eat whatever we want, and we're fine. We maintain our weight that way. It might not work for everybody, but again, we're at the point where we're like, okay, well, I don't need to lose any more weight. I think this weight for my height and my age is just fine. So it's kind of up to you. But again, it's okay to have those foods also that are not keto, because moderation is key. Yeah, you want to have a beer. Have a beer. Okay? You know what? Have one. You messed up. Fine. Get back on it the next day. There you go. It doesn't have to be a death sentence, you guys. Oh, I messed up one time on this one food. I guess it's over. I can just fall back into all my bad habits. If you have a bad day, get back on it the next day, man. It happens to everybody. But I will encourage the first 3 months, really going hardcore, going all into it, and you'll be amazed. The last one I got is, well, as soon as you stop eating keto, you'll gain all that weight back. Well, guys, isn't that true with everything? Say you have a basic regulated kind of diet with exercise, and you lose a lot of weight, you're looking good, you're feeling trim. The second that you stop and you start eating shitty foods again, aren't you going to gain all the weight back? So yeah, I think that applies to everything, not just keto. Here's the thing. Like I said, guys, this is going to change your eating style so much. You might incorporate low carbs back into your diet if you wanted to start maintaining. You're never going to go back to the way that it was. I don't think so. I don't know. We'll see. I guess that's kind of up to you. For me, I took all those clothes that I had pre-keto. I took them to Goodwill and I donated them. Because I was never going to get into that place in my life again, because I'll never, ever let some of those bad things, that was going on up here back into my life now that I know that this does work. So I do want to talk now about what worked for us here. Again, I want you to check out that video if you want an explanation on counting macros, how to track what you're eating, what you can and can't eat, meal planning, stuff like that. This video would be 2 hours if I really went into all that. And that one alone was an hour by itself. So check that out if you want to know more. What we decided to do when we started this is we were going to commit to this for 100 days. No slip-ups at all. Absolutely not. We weren't going to accept any invites out or anything like that. We were just going to kind of shut down, and for 100 days, we were going to commit ourselves to this and see what happened. I was 254 pounds. She was 205 pounds. Our goals were 215 pounds for me, 180 for her. We started losing about 3 or 4 pounds a week when we first started this, which is fine. It's a fine rate. We were thinking, okay, this is working. I guess it's fine. I wish it worked a little faster, which, at first you're good. Anytime you do anything like this, you're going to lose about that average per month. It's going to slow down, or per week, sorry. Then it's going to slow down. We started doing intermittent fasting. And if you don't know what intermittent fasting is when you only have a small window of the day where you eat. You have different windows. What we did was called 16-8, where you eat for 8 hours a day, and then for 16 hours you do not eat. So there's a certain time of the day you shut everything down. What we did was we didn't eat breakfast until 10 a.m. and we had dinner done by 6 p.m. And I was one of those things I thought, I can never do this. But again, you're going to be so full on this that you're not going to have any problems doing that. When we started intermittent fasting, guys, it melted off. I was losing 7 to 8, 10 pounds a week when we started doing intermittent fasting combined with keto. it is what I now call the fountain of youth. It's incredible. And a lot of people are like, oh, sure, starve yourself for a certain part of the day. That isn't what it is at all, guys. It really isn't. Again, you can find all kinds of information about fasting and the benefits of it. But we had to adjust our goals because we hit our goals that we had at the beginning in the first 6 weeks. We really did. And so we had to adjust everything a little more. And guys, we started on Labor Day, which you are in the States, that's at the beginning of September. And by Thanksgiving, I was 183 pounds and she was 160. That is a combined 116 pounds in 3 months. So guys, if we can do it, I think that you can do it. And we've kept it all off for 3 years now. Yeah, we have some slip-ups. Like I went on that vacation that I did the off the books on last month. And yeah, we ate like pigs while we were there. And you know what? We gained some weight. We got right back on this when we got back. Poof, it was gone in about a week and a half. We got all that vacation weight gone. So guys, if you count macros, if you add in intermittent fasting, you drink a lot of water, eat a lot of fiber, you're going to be fine. It's going to help you upstairs and going to help you around the waist. So I hope this answered any questions you have. Again, watch that other video if you're curious now enough to say, you know what, I want to give this a try because I think it's going to change your life if you give it a shot. And that video will tell you more in detail about what we did and what worked for us. So guys, that was the keto lifestyle. Drop in the comments. Let me know if you tried keto. Are you interested in giving it a try? Do you think it's a big gimmick? Well, here's what I say to that. This is the diet that our ancestors used 2.5 million years ago, and they didn't have problems with their teeth. They didn't have overweight and obesity. They didn't have a diabetes epidemic. I'm going to say maybe our ancestors weren't wrong. So I have a hard time calling that a gimmick. But again, that's just my opinion. I hope you can be okay with me having that if you have a different one. But drop in the comments and let me know what you guys think. And I will talk to you there. I'll have any questions you guys have. I would be more than happy to answer them. And I hope that I've answered a lot of those along the way. I'll talk to you there.